Welcome to the Be It Till You See It podcast, where we talk about taking messy action, knowing that perfect is boring. I'm Lesley Logan, Pilates instructor and fitness business coach. I've trained thousands of people around the world, and the number one thing I see stopping people from achieving anything is self-doubt. My friends, action brings clarity, and it's the antidote to fear. Each week, my guests will bring bold, executable, intrinsic, and targeted steps that you can use to put yourself first and be it till you see it. It's a practice, not a perfect. Let's get started. Welcome back to the Be It Till You See It interview recap, where my co-host in life, Brad, and I are going to dig into the epic conversation I had with Erika Quest in our last episode. Oh, yeah. That's right. I said Erika Quest, everyone, herself in the flesh, or if you know the inside joke, we call her awareness. If you haven't yet listened to her on the interview, feel free to pause this now, go back, listen to that one, and then come back and join us, or listen to this whole recap, decide what you want to do. Or if you're listening on iTunes and they just show you this one and then they show you the next one, whatever order you want to do this is totally fine.
You know, it's all gravy.
It's thank goodness it's not surgery, so you can go out any order you want. Okay, so y'all, so excited. Brad and I are a couple weeks away from our agency mini program, which is our 7-day coaching program online, and it's for fitness business instructors, but anyone in the service industry pretty much can join. We've had doulas, we've had yoga instructors, we've had trainers, bar instructors,
Pilates, obviously.
Yes, we've had nutritionists. So, anyways, Brad, can you tell them a little bit about why they may want to do agency mini?
100%. First off, we have an ongoing coaching program for fitness business instructors, entrepreneurs, studio owners. Doesn't matter what position you are in the world of fitness business. We work with people in your shoes, and this
or
is
not shoes, because maybe they don't wear shoes.
Maybe it's maybe it's clogs. We work with people in your clogs,
in your Crocs,
in your
Pilates socks.
In your skis. There we go.
There you go. I can't beat that one.
Right. Okay. Moving on.
Well, so anyways,
the 7-day coaching program is a chance to get a taste of what the ongoing program is all about. You can come in and get to know us. You can fall in love with Lesley. You can meet the community.
They might fall in love with you too.
I hope so.
Well, I do. You can meet the community. We bring in our agency members in there. This is, again, it's a 7-day program. We only run it twice a year. So this is the last time we're going to run it in 2021.
Yes.
We hope you join us. You can actually get all the information at profitablepilates.com/mini, which is MINI.
Yeah, and depending on when you hear this, you might be signing up for a wait list. But if you do hear this before August, then when you go to profitablepilates/mini, you can actually sign up for the event. It's going to be the first week of August this summer. So we hope you join us. It's going to be an incredible whirlwind of a week. You're going to learn a ton.
Because we answer hundreds of questions in 7 days. It's actually really fun. It's like, I don't know what gamers do, but I feel like a gamer. I'm like, hold on, let me put my blue blockers on. Where's all of the liquid supplements I'll need for today? Anyways, I'm excited about that. That's what we're really focused on right now and working on behind the scenes.
Yeah, it's going to be amazing.
Okay, so what was our audience question this week, babe?
We had a really interesting audience question this week. It was, what did we do before we were running a Pilates company?
Well, so that's interesting, because how far before? Because before you joined me, I was still running a Pilates company.
That's kind of why I said it was interesting, because you've been at this game for a very long time, and I'm relatively new. Although not really, because I was working with you behind the scenes, in the background for a number of years before actually committing to working on this project, which I must say, is probably the coolest project that I've had a chance to work on.
Aw. Well, thank you. And also, basically, he just made me invoice him for work. And now I did.
I literally was like, okay, here's your invoice for the services I've rendered for your business.
And then I was like, you know what would be really nice if I didn't get all these bills and I could just put you on payroll.
Yeah. Somehow, and we were already married too. So how about that?
So
yeah,
I don't know. So anyways, what did we do before that? Well, before Brad and I ran a company together, I ran all of my companies myself. But before that, if you really want to know, I think it's obvious if you look at me that I have a lot of jewelry. And I also have an obsession with purses that knows no depths. Like there is actually never enough of rose gold jewelry. So if you're sending me rose gold, or I will do yellow gold jewelry, and vintage designer handbags. I'm just putting that out there in case. She doesn't need
either.
I need it's never about need, y'all. When it comes to those things, it is how do they make you feel? And they make me feel really good. So I used to manage jewelry stores.
Amazing.
What did you do?
So after the jewelry stores, you also worked corporate at a big fitness company. So I think that's worth throwing out there. Tons of experience managing, a bunch of studios at the same time,
like
dealing
9.
with inadequate amount of space to make too much money in, like all the crazy stories that you hear. And then also you had teacher training program experience, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, my resume will never fit on one page, and so I will never update it ever again.
I'm not going to lie, you're not alone. I feel like it's a generational thing at this point. Like the majority of us who are listening, I would imagine, didn't really have the opportunity to do one thing for their entire career. It's just not how the world works today. In the same vein, I started off coming to LA for music, and then I got involved in startup companies right out of the gate and did that for a long time. I worked for lots of startup companies. I worked in food. I served tables at fancy restaurants for many years, and that was kind of my lifeline, or at least that's what I told myself. And then finally started a web dev company with a friend of mine, and then started a couple of other ventures before stepping away from all those things, and then working full-time with you.
So in case you didn't hear, we like to leap a lot. We be it till you see it on a daily.
Yeah, and it's interesting. We were definitely doing that before we met each other.
Oh yeah.
I projected being a universal rock star into the space for a solid 15 years before we met. Took me on a whole new journey down there. But the being it till you see it, it's a fascinating idea, and we're excited about it here. All right, let's talk about Erika Quest.
Erika Quest!
Okay, everyone, Erika Quest she's basically a legend in real life. She is a college dropout who managed tens of millions of dollars in ad spend for massive companies, then chose the entrepreneurial path, owning her own Pilates studio for the past 18 years while traveling the country and the world teaching workshops. And then she launched her own online space where she's part of creating change in the fitness industry and, dare I say it, paying people to be on her platform. She's a charismatic, enthusiastic leader, someone you just want to spend more time with. We are so excited to have her on our pod as a guest.
I know. So y'all, this was a lot of fun. I don't know. Brad can answer this, but I was like, I feel like this might be one of those podcasts where it's like you're a fly on the wall, of the conversation that she and I typically have on a daily basis, which we do talk a lot. So hopefully you got a background on Erika in that podcast somewhere.
No, there was quite a history lesson there, and lots of exploration of brain. Like she studies the brain. I mean, there's tons of things. It was like it kept going.
Yeah. Anyways, she is one of my like older sisters I never knew I always wanted, mostly because I think having sisters can be hard. Anyways, if you have sisters out there, I have a sister. I love her. I love she's listening. I'm sure my mom's listening, so I'm going to get a text message now. Anyways, but I think it's nice when the universe gives you a sister you weren't asking for. Okay, so one of the things I loved was her being willing to fail. And she's like learns from it. So she used the word reps, like put in your reps, because she does do training and Bosu and stuff like that. And so if you can think about like when you go to the gym, you know you're doing 3 sets of 15, like, you know, bicep curls. You don't go, oh God, I didn't make a perfect bicep curl. Guess I'm done. Like you just do the reps until you're like, oh, that weight got lighter. So I really loved that.
Yeah, I think her application for that, what she was talking about was about her entrepreneurialism and also teaching, right? Because when she started to talk about when she was teaching workshops, the application of what she was talking about with the idea of reps was not only doing the entrepreneurial thing, but also speaking, like workshops, coaching. She said she has totally biffed it on stage and like, you know, done a really bad presentation and all that stuff. And if you know her today, you'd be like, what? That's impossible. No way. But she was talking about the journey of getting to where she is and having to go through it. And whether that's you like teaching a client, whether you're a new teacher, or maybe you just opened a studio, you are going to fail. And that's not a bad thing. That's actually where you learn. Failure creates tension. Tension is the stress. It actually helps you grow. It's a positive thing when you know that you are going to fail before you get there, right? So right now, don't be surprised. It's part of being your own business owner. It's part of life.
I was going to say, let's also say it's just part of life. Like, I know so many of you don't even run a business and you're like, what? It's like, even the first time you change a duvet cover, you're like, this is a hot mess. And then you put the reps in and it gets better and better and better.
I definitely had a duvet that's rectangular, but it looked square. And I put the cover on sideways. So there was like a foot of like floppiness at the end and it trying to jam it. It just
Side note, I think I did that the other day and I was like, guess what? Staying that way.
Yeah. Thought it was square. Not square.
Messy action. All right. So what did you love?
Okay. So this was interesting. I didn't really understand the full context of this. But she talked about, she didn't reference the actual book, but it seems like there's a book by a doctor who talks about System 1, System 2, and I believe there's even 2 more systems of thinking. It's
called Emotional Agility, and I forget the woman's name.
Dr. Susan...
Yes, Dr. Susan something.
David.
Yes.
Dr. Susan David.
Yes.
And so she talked about this idea of System 1 thinking, which is like your guttural, how you feel right now, like I want to X, I want to eat that, I want to drink this, I want to sleep, I want to whatever. System 2 thinking, what I thought was interesting, how she described it was almost taking a pause before you engage with someone. So when somebody says something to you, internally processing it before the information comes out of your mouth, going back to them. And, how does that, like, when they say something to you, the System 2 thinking is, how does that make me feel? Why does it make me feel this way? What is my response? What should my response be? And then taking action on processing that information on that thinking.
I feel like System 2 thinking would save a lot of money in therapy bills. And everybody, like, if we all could just like pause, think it through, and then go, how much time we save in the whole life of like conversations of backpedaling and saying what you really meant and like why you said that and having to share your entire System 2 thinking with everybody.
Right. Yeah. You don't need to share the whole process. You can process it first and then share. Look, I mean, I think we've all, had our own gaffes and said things that we wish we hadn't. And, like daily. Like, I think daily.
But maybe not. Maybe it's every other day. I've been working on this system 1, system 2 thinking. And I'm at the point where I'm that was system 1. Oops, I'm labeling right now. That's in the mindfulness world. It's called label. I'm labeling.
Well, I thought it was interesting because the application with which she was talking about System 2 thinking was people who ask you to do something for free. And obviously you heard with her platform, she's intentionally paying the people who come onto her platform because she values their time and wants to really create change in the industry. However, she still is sometimes willing to do something for free, and that's based on the context of the request, right? And for her, that System 2 thinking is understanding, is this scenario that I've been asked to participate in for free, is it going to put me in front of other people who have, an opportunity to create more change in my life or growth or whatever that might be? Or is this someone just trying to take advantage of me, right? And I think the idea of System 2 thinking, she processes it all first before responding.
Yeah, I was just talking to somebody about this on a kind of a different level, but it was more of like, how does she know when to say yes or when to say no? And she's like, well, people are asking, and I feel like I should say yes, but then sometimes I'm like, oh, I should have said no. And I was like, well, that's why you say, even with your calendar in your hand, let me check my calendar and get back to you tomorrow, because my calendar's on my phone. But I love to say that because it lets me take a pause.
Right.
And think about the thing I'm being asked to go to and actually think, am I saying yes because I don't want to say no and hurt someone's feelings? Am I saying yes because I really want to do it? Am I saying yes because I don't know how to say no? Or, there's all these different things. And so by taking that pause and giving yourself a pause. So I'll be reading that book.
Yeah. Don't worry. We'll put the link in the show notes for sure. All right. Well, so finally, let's talk about the beit actions that you discussed with Erika. What bold, executable, intrinsic, or targeted action items could we take away from your convo with her? I'm going to jump right in, and I think something she said was right up my alley. Doing tech, being in tech, and working off of a system called Agile. And I'm going to tell a little bit of story here. Oh, first off, her beit action item is constant prioritization. Okay, so constantly analyzing, what takes precedence, what is priority today. And the story I'm going to tell about that is my very first startup company. 2007, I was part of a social network, and we were trying to take down Facebook before it ever even started. Facebook was up and killing it, but we were trying to take it before they clinched the kingpin role. Anyway, we had this grandiose plan of all the things that, this is what a social network should be and is. And it was crazy. We had 20 or 30 or 40 different things, and we're building all these modules and all this fancy stuff and doing all this stuff. And we never released any of it. And then when we finally released all of it at the same time, people were like, we don't even know what this is, and we don't know what to do with it. And we spent a year and a half before we really, truly, started putting stuff out there. And it wasn't until after that idea that I learned about this concept of agile tech development, where you work in really short sprints, they call it, and you work in maybe a 2-week window even. And so your goal is to release the next bite-sized release, chunk. So if it's instead of 40 modules, you're releasing only one, and you put that out there and you see how people deal with it, engage with it. They give you feedback. Maybe you have to make it better, maybe whatever. And then eventually you have built the whole, elephant. We're going in reverse here. But
it's just so you know, that's about how do you eat an elephant one bite at a time. Just for context.
Just going backwards. But anyway, constant prioritization. She talks about how her schedule works. She has built herself different income streams, and sometimes she has to talk about income stream A right now, and then next week, okay, income stream A is now going to happen in 4 weeks. So today, what do I need to talk about today? And so she's consistently analyzing her what she's talking about in her marketing and her messaging, and I thought that's so important for everyone to be doing in what they're up to.
I'm glad you brought that up because I was coaching someone today, and she was talking about all the work she has to get done, but also the housework, and like the rug was crooked and the bed isn't made and da-da-da. And I said, when you look at your things of what you have to do today, if they all are just in a list, then they all have this like equal value. You really have to look at it and go like, why am I doing this right now? Like, why is this the most important thing to me? And it could be because you're procrastinating on something or avoiding something.
I'm really good at that.
Fear of something, right? But like by just doing that system 2 thinking where you process the thing, then it keeps you from like making the bed and taking out the trash over and over and over again without actually just like sending the email about the thing that you want to be doing. So.
Right. Yeah.
Cool.
That's right. All right. Well, what about you?
My biggest takeaway, of course, was the smoke and mirrors. So of course it was. So I know a lot of people, like sometimes it's scary to dream big or it just feels like a lot. And the reality is like you have to like put out in the universe like what you want to be doing. So if you want to be working out 5 days a week at the gym, doesn't mean that you like have to start from 0 to 5. You just go, I'm going to work out 5 days a week at the gym. And when someone goes, oh, what are you doing next week? Oh, I've got 5 workouts planned. Like you keep saying the thing speaking into existence. It's be it till you see it, yo. And I really, I think it's really easy for us to say we're going to do something and then like all the different reasons. But like even this podcast, we would go around for months like, oh, we're putting a podcast together. I didn't have a link for an interview.
Months is nice. I'm pretty sure it was years, my dear.
Years. We're doing a podcast. And
podcast is coming.
It's coming. And so I really love this because the truth is that nothing is ever ready. This podcast, even with an extra month, wasn't ready. Like we are, like it's you're not lying about it. You actually do the work, but you just have to do the smallest part of it. You don't have to take it all on. You don't have to wait for it to be ready, for it to be real. So that was, I just really love the verbalizing it. I'm a verbal processor, so obviously I love that.
Well, I was also laughing because it is like directly be it till you see it.
I know. Well, I mean,
literally that.
So I totally bring people on to talk about how they're being until they see it, just so you know.
Yeah. So, and she was sharing a story about launching her online platform, and she's she knew it was happening. It was a concept that she knew she was going to roll out, and so she started talking about it before it was available. In the same way, I know the two of you just recently wrapped a course that you put out together. It was a month-long program.
Oh, yeah, people can get it.
People can get it. Yeah. I'm all about that. I actually had an incredible response to that program, but the reality is it was like a year of prep, planning, thinking, speaking it into existence before it ever actually came about. And that was her whole idea of smoke and mirrors, and not in a snake oil weird way, but in the sense of like you're going to make it happen. It's just not there right now, and that's okay.
Yeah, it's really okay, and it's we did plan that for over a year, and then it only took a month. It's a month-long course, but a year of prep. We just kept speaking about it, and what was so cool is that when we actually launched it, people were like, "Of course they're doing this. This is a thing that they said they were doing."
Yeah, everybody knew it was coming.
Everyone knew it was coming.
Yep.
So I hope everyone takes a moment today to like sit down and think about what you want in your life, and just tell someone, guess what I'm working on right now? Oh, I have this other thing I want to say. Hold on. I got distracted about the course. So here's the thing. Okay, I have a friend who actually knew Gabby Bernstein before she was like known as Gabby Bernstein. So for those of you who are in the spiritual wellness, help, like self-help stuff, you are very familiar with Miss Gabby. So anyways, this girl, Gabby, literally Gabby, would tell everyone, I'm going to meet Oprah one day. they're like, oh, what are you working on? Oh, I'm working on this project so that I can meet Oprah. Oprah and I are going to talk about this project. She just kept telling every single person she was going to freaking meet Oprah Winfrey. Homegirl has been on Oprah Winfrey's show. Oprah Winfrey talks about her a lot. Like, they are two peas in a pod. And another example of Gabby, this is how she talked to everyone. She was at Bloomingdale's looking at bedding, which bedding at Bloomingdale's is like beautiful and no one buys it, right? And the salesperson comes up and she's like, oh, can I help you with this? And she's like, actually, I'm going to buy this soon. I'm going to make enough money to buy all of this. Thank you. And she'd like, I'll let you know when I'm ready. And she would just walk off, but she would go to places and she would look at the things that she wanted to have. And she would speak what she wanted into existence. And homegirl is Gabby Bernstein with that bedding from Bloomingdale's and friends with Oprah. So that is my, I just feel like that's and that comes from someone who knew her when. So it's true.
Yeah. I think that the first person that you have to convince is yourself.
Oh, yeah.
And it's so hard to convince yourself when it's all in your head. And I know that because I'm an analyzer. So it's really easy for it to all be upstairs. And speaking it is very foreign to me. It's a little awkward sometimes. In fact, there's a lot of fear when I start to tell people like I'm proclaiming something. Like it's, that's a weird, that's the weird vibe that I'm bringing to it. But having now begun to incorporate speaking it into my my life, my world, it is. It allows things to be so much more clear in my own head, which is this weird irony, right? But when I know that this is how it's going to be and this is what's going to happen, it changes my own thinking.
Well, here's the thing. The reasons that human beings survived the evolutionary process of them was our ability to storytell. So we didn't become, we didn't get to stick around this planet by keeping it all in our head. We stuck around and we grew and we thrived because we would tell a story. Sure. And so even if you're telling yourself the story of who you're going to be or what you're going to do, that's how it happens.
Well, I love it. I mean, just listening to Erika is so inspiring. And like I said at the beginning, we're so excited that she was able to join us and grateful for her and her enthusiasm for life.
I know. Every day, Erika, every day.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm Lesley Logan.
And I'm Brad Crowell.
Thank you so much for joining us today. We're really grateful you're here. How are you going to use these tips? Listening to this episode, the words straight out of Erika's mouth, how are you going to use them? What we'd love for you to do is screenshot this, write your takeaway in there, tag Erika Quest, tag Beit Pod, and let us know. And also, if you can, share this episode directly with a friend. Text them, tell them they have to listen to it. Say, This is why I thought of you. That's really important so that they understand that's important. And not only will it change their life, will it help them be it till they see it, it really helps this podcast get out into many, many, many more ears because I got big dreams for it, which I'll explain on another pod. All right. Until next time, everyone, be it till you see it. That's all I've got for this episode of the Be It Till You See It podcast. One thing that would help both myself and future listeners is for you to rate the show and leave a review. And follow or subscribe for free wherever you listen to your podcast. Also, make sure to introduce yourself over at the Be It Pod on Instagram. I would love to know more about you. Share this episode with whoever you think needs to hear it. Help us and others be it till you see it. Have an awesome day. Be It Till You See It is a production of As the Crows Fly Media.
It's written, produced, filmed, and recorded by your host, Lesley Logan, and me, Brad Crowell.
Kevin and Belle at Disenyo handle all of our audio editing and some social media content.
Our theme music is by Ali at Apex Production Music, and our branding by designer and artist Gianfranco Cioffi.
Special thanks to our designer Jaira Mondal for creating all of our visuals, which you can't see because this is a podcast, and our digital producer Jay Pedroso for editing all the video each week so you can.
And to Meredith Crowell for keeping us all on point and on time.